Dhyanamoolam Gururmurti Pujamoolam Gururpadam Mantramoolam Gururvakyam Mokshamoolam Gururkripa Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. So, meet the need, and in that topic, it was third eye, and in the third eye, we have uh, emotions control, and in the emotions control, one of the topic that came about, that's what we'll be studying today. And that is, if there are three people in war, say you can say a boss and two employees. One of the employee is liked by the boss, the other one is not liked or is not as much liked by. So say A is the boss, B is an employee liked by the boss, C is another employee which is not liked as much or disliked by the boss. So in this situation, what does and how does C has to behave? Was it your question, Vijay, or different?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is similar to that. But what I can say is, uh, in my mind, the example I was thinking was your example of mother-in-law.
Okay.
Like a mother-in-law has a daughter and a daughter-in-law. So how that behavior of the daughter-in-law will be affected, how the mother-in-law treats her.
Okay, beautiful. It's a similar question.
It's
The
similar thing.
characters
Yes.
are different.
Yes.
It can be sometimes parent and two children. Parent may behave differently with boy or girl, and the girl may behave differently. Either way.
Yes.
So let's take this general. And Chris, are you also in concurrence with me and Vijay? Unmute, please.
I'm not sure. I came in and I was going in and out, so I didn't hear all the question. I'm sorry.
No problem. Anyhow, and later on, please be prepared to participate. This is going to be very interesting subject matter. Let me share one screen. Oops. Oops. Well, Hari Pardon me, give me a second. I should be soon set. All right. Looks like it. All right. Are you with me, everybody? Please understand. So this is what we have a question. A is the boss. B is one of the employee. And here I said A likes B. And employee C, boss A, dislikes him. Dislike, like less, whatever. In a situation like this, how does and what does C has to behave? So would you kindly tell me, each one of you, how would C has to behave? And again, she may have constant tension, different emotions may be developed, but who knows it? So how would you treat this? Let me okay. So let each one of us participate and put out your penny worth. If you happen to be the person C, how would you behave? And let us be brief so that we can enjoy further discussion. Maheen.
Hariom, it depends on the connection between the two, and a lot of other things. If the third person is as you said, is an employee that the boss doesn't like very much, that all depends on how the third person wants to be there or not. Because if she wants to be there, she has to do whatever the boss wants. Or
Maheen, third person is you.
That's what I'm saying. If I have a job that I have to be there and I find out that my boss doesn't like me, it depends how much I want to be there. Then I decide whether I like to please this person or not. But like Vijay was saying, if it's your mother-in-law or someone like that, a third person, then that's a whole different story, because that in that case is a two-way connection. And I'm a mother-in-law. If you want your son-in-law or daughter-in-law to love you or be in good terms with each other, it's a give and take.
Okay, Gemini.
So Hariom, if I'm the person, that disliked by the employee, means my boss or maybe mother-in-law or any other relationship, I will not like to be around the people who don't like me. So first I'll try to find out why they don't like me, or what is the, why the dislike first. And if I'm not able to, find out why I'm disliked there, then maybe I'll not like to be around the people who don't like me.
Okay, Venkat.
Yeah. First, I'll try to see why the person doesn't like me. Maybe something of what I'm doing is not good, or I'm not up to the other person's expectations. So if they don't like because some expectations are not met, I'll try my best to improve the area where I need to reach the other person's expectations. Sometimes just because of mentality or whatever the past some other things. So if nothing can be done and I can't change it, then I'll try to see not to bother and if I have to continue, not to bother and continue, try to do without getting detached.
It is, okay, let me better define the question. Okay, and that is B and C are the two employees. Both are proposing exactly the same solution to a problem. Still, A likes B and A does not like C. In a situation like this, you as C, what would you do?
Same sort of thing. He doesn't like me in the sense maybe he had some conception about me or something he might not like in the past, which may be causing that opinion. So if I can change something, I'll try to do, or else then that's all. Try to live with that one, or third possibility, come out of it. Yeah.
You cannot help but come, I mean, you cannot come out because there are no other jobs available, and your son is to go to the college, the rent is to be paid. In a situation like this, what would you do?
Maybe try to improve the impression. Probably that occasion didn't happen. Next time, maybe ask him what is the problem and whether he has any difficulties with me or any suggestions, any recommendations. I'll try to find with him and try to discuss with him. And if something works out that is good, if he doesn't say anything or he says everything is fine, but still he doesn't like to, maybe try to live with that one as much as possible, not to get affected with that one.
Vijay, be ready, keep your mic ready. Your mic.
Okay. Well, kind of after learning so much of philosophy and your guidance, I think as long as I know that I'm doing the best I can, whether he likes or not, it should not affect me. So that's how I see it.
Mukesh.
As long as not my production or productivity, is obviously something personal, and I wouldn't do anything about it, because even if he already has made up, or he or she has made up a mind, and your output, what matters is your work and your action, your output. And I mean, you just accept it, and it wouldn't bother me, because it's obviously something.
Okay, Jayshree.
Yeah.
Unmute and talk.
I know what I should do, but I know what I probably would do. I'd probably be really sad that I'm not accepted. But should is to be, what should be done is pretty much like Mukesh said, just continue your work and enjoy the day, put some music on and do your work and call it a day, turn in your work, on time.
I think I would try to do direct communication with the boss and ask him what he wants me to do, what is his expectation. Maybe he doesn't know that, what I'm doing is right or not, so try to level with the communication.
Okay, and if he doesn't level?
Pardon?
If he doesn't level, meaning he said, no, everything is fine.
Yeah. Right.
Situation like
if he doesn't level, then I don't know. Pardon?
Okay. Sunil.
Once I need to figure out whether it is in my control or no. Once I figure out it's not in my control, keep doing best possible job and ignore.
Okay, Krish.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best thing that I would do is that, or the thing that I would do is try to give the best arguments for my position and try to keep emotions out of it as much as possible, so that I was acting on a professional basis. And hopefully he will come around to not, even though he doesn't like me, at least he would be able to understand the great arguments that I make in favor of my position. That's how I try it.
Okay. This is, again, we are just studying together. Please understand. And this is not necessarily only the employee. It can be your children, can be your husband, can be your parents, can be your in-laws, can be your friends. You know, yes, Jayshree, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to be professional in a workplace, but how are you professional in a home life situation?
Okay.
Exactly.
You can argue that point. Let me just look for, or let me suggest what I wanted to suggest, and then you do. Okay? Very good question, by the way. Each one of us, like it or dislike it, like it or not, we all are facing this kind of situation in our life, regardless. It can be even a saint, Swami, he may be facing a similar situation with some of the disciples or running the organization, Gurukul or so. Okay, I have seen all this. So that's why I was very much interested in this question. Touching base with, let me first finish a few things and then again we'll get into the discussion. Whatever all of you said are so relevant, and I appreciate what Sunil, Mukesh, Vijay. First thing is to understand spirituality is a singular journey. It solely, to a degree, that journey depends solely on you. You cannot change the other person. You may do your best to make your life as peaceful as possible, but as I earlier mentioned, boss A is not ready to change, and boss A pretends that nothing is wrong, but you easily see it, that he behaves for the same solution B offers differently, and the same solution C offers, he behaves differently. Or it may be C's perception. Understand, this is equally true. It may be C's perception that he likes B more than he likes me. So regardless of this, first thing to check is, are you doing the best you could? And are you happy? Whether he lays off or not, whether he gives promotion or not, whether he mistreats you. But are you, at your heart, happy that you are putting in your 8 hours or 10 hours of solid work, and you're doing the best to the best of your satisfaction? That is number one. Number two, expectation of the behavior, boss's behavior, and its interpretation is, it must not be your heavy consideration. I'm using the word heavy, okay? We are human beings, we will be affected. But so the reaction to your work may not necessarily be in your hand. So I will slowly shift, and still it is exactly explainable, pertaining to and that is Bhagavad Gita slok, which I would like to share with you, and which is Karmane Vadikarastu. Let me bring you the slok, and word by word I will bring it to you. And please, please, please be ready to argue, because unless, and you can put out your logical argument, unless and until this thing is thoroughly understood, our journey may not begin. All right. So let me share with you. This is the sloka. Those of you don't know, don't worry. We'll go word by word. This is how it is read. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangosta va karmani. So if you take next slide word by word, and this is the translation. You have the right to work only, but never to its fruit. Let not the fruits of action be your motive, not let your attachment be to inaction. Inaction, not to do at all. All right. Karmanya, in the work, eva only, adhikar, right. You have right to do karma. You have right to do the work. Yours. And then the second part says, ma phalesu kadachana. Ma means not, phalesu of the fruit, kadachana, never ever. Okay? So, phalesu in the fruit of, okay, that's what I already told. Kadachana is ever, but ma kadachana, never ever. And the second line, oops. Okay. The second, okay. Karma phala, karma, action, phala, fruits of the action. Hetu, motive, bhu, be. So let your intention, let your motive be to work only. Te sango tsa karmani, sangha, attachment, astu, be, akarmani, inaction. And okay, so let us go back, and now it's it is so important to understand, and a lot of time young people as well as adults like us get discouraged. Says that this loka talks about do your action and don't worry about the fruit. So they translate like, oh, so in other words, you keep on doing work and don't worry about the salary. None of us would work that way, and that's not what it says. When Swami explained very well, that's not what it meant, but he said, be a good manager to manage the like and dislikes of the fruit. Don't get into all this, but what we'll be discussing today is to going back to ABC. And as you know, Vijay, Sunil, Mukesh, and every one of you, you said it, what you said, that you do the best you can to the best of your ability. And when you leave the office, you know that you have done the best. And what he thinks and what he does is not in your head. Despite the fact that you try to find out, but you will never find out. Despite the fact that mother-in-law knows that she is daughter-in-law, she also knows that she is not my daughter. But that concept she knows, but still she will not change her concept. She is of the opinion that my daughter needs to be treated like my daughter, and daughter-in-law is a kind of a servant in the house. If that is her concept, you can die and still you will not change it. So in a situation like this, what would you do? So at that time, I understand it is hard, but if you develop the attitude of service, service and service only, and that too, even difficult is to serve with love. But internally, you are aware that there is nothing wrong with you. You are doing the best, but you cannot change her. And if you continuously keep on working and serving, some point in time, somebody meaning mother-in-law or boss, may come to realize that after all, when I was partial to my daughter or the employee B, and ultimately up to the last moment, whosoever helped me, that person is C. My daughter, when I am sick, she could not be of any help because she was at in-laws. The only person who stood 24/7 is my daughter-in-law. Some point in time, one would realize it. Whether she realizes or not, it's not your lookout. But your lookout is every evening, once you go to sleep, you will be so content that you did the best you could. And internally, if you have your hetu, and that hetu means intention, to serve and serve, irrespective of what they do. Now, to what degree people say, there has to be a limit. But now introduce one more character to daughter-in-law. When daughter-in-law becomes a mother, and when the child, nowadays forget the diaper age, but other go back to when the diapers weren't there. Child wets the bed, and who takes care of the child? Who sleeps in the wet bed and who puts the baby in the dry bed? Does the child understand how often the child was told, don't wet? But does the child understand? Child has her own tendency. And mother ever says that you don't know, I slept at 1 o'clock and you wet the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. When am I ever going to sleep? Has your mother, or if you happen to be mother, have you ever thought of saying so? So how come you are now different with your mother-in-law than your own child? Of course, some of you may answer, child is a child, and mother-in-law is a mother, elderly figure, and she should understand. Whether she understands or not, but are you a spiritual person? Are you walking on that path? And if your intention, hetu, is to serve, serve, and serve, because ultimately, again, I would say, and it is not that easy, spiritual path, but it is also not impossible. Situation happens. And I think the last time I told you, I have met that lady in my young life. Happened to be my father's cousin's sister. Right after the marriage, when she come home, her mother-in-law, she was bedridden, and she will have all the bathrooms activity in the bed. At that time, diapers nor rubberized beds were available. So to clean her, to clean the bed, make her sleep, this was until daughter-in-law became 65. So at that time, mother-in-law must have been in her 90s. So understand what could have been her married life. So she is an idol in my mind all the time. She guides me to be patient. And again, that is where the unhappiness comes, because your hetu is different. Your intention is different. Your intention and the priority you are assuming to be your sleep, your rest, your married life, you dealing with your husband and whatnot. But if that is a lot of time people may say it is easier said than done. I could agree more with you. We are human, but this will help us calming down, bring it to us the reality. And it will try to bring in balance. It will try to bring in the harmony in our life. And no conflicting, upsetting anger. So service, 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 if that is the intention. I know this is a little tough subject matter, but somebody mentioned that what if that happens to be the family? What if that happened to be the husband? Well, still in every one of these activity, and as somebody mentioned, that, I will not let that situation bother me. That is one way. How will it not bother you? You either leave this environment or adopt the highly spiritual path. And we all have limitations. So in a situation like this, have some satsang or have some guidance, and more this kind of satsang with this kind of satsangi, the seekers, then someday our understanding, our excitement, our stimulation may be reduced, and we'll understand that sloka of Bhagavad Gita. So it is up to me to do the best. And I am feeling sad and unhappy because you feel it could have been other way. And one or two other examples. And before I even talk about the example, a video that I sent you under the title Reality versus Fantasy. If you haven't had time to see it, please see it. It's very powerful video. And it talks about what is the cosmic plan, what the divine plan, and what we think almost all the misery comes when we do not accept the divine plan or the flow or the cosmic plan, and we want to do otherwise. And that otherwise is our fantasy. Don't take fantasy in a negative manner. Fantasy means you're thinking and not accepting. And if you can understand the acceptance, in the case of my aunt, that how she took it for her entire life. If you just take it, where else could you find 24/7 throughout your life to serve somebody? Where else you gonna find that time? And that opportunity happens to be right at your own house, and there is nobody else in the family. If your intention, hetu, is service, service, and service. It's not easy again, I understand that point, but depends on the hetu, intention. I'm using the word hetu because this is part of very important part of the sloka that I talked about. Now I will let you folks.
Just a comment, Sunaji,
Yeah.
with respect to your aunt. Yes, she was serving it, but how was the mother-in-law's response in a way to treat her? Was she happy that she was doing the work, or she was complaining, well, it could be better, it could be done this way, I want this way, like that? That makes a difference.
It was a good mixture.
Okay.
Meaning when she was relatively young, she was complaining.
Oh.
Okay? Because at that time, just understand that you come to me and you have a shoulder pain. I massage that shoulder, but then you say, it little too hard, Soniji, take it easy, light, okay? Or if I put very smooth and you say, can you press a little more? You follow?
Yeah.
So in other words, the expectation and the service, I'm using the word servant, but service person, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Service person's action may not match. And at that time also, the attitude of the mother-in-law, acceptance with love, that, oh my God, look at this girl. Even though I have not given her the birth, but how much she serves me. If that is her attitude, she is the hero, and she makes the service person hero as well.
Yes.
So a couple of things to learn out of it is to do nothing but service, attitude of gratitude, intention, and matter of gift that you get chance to serve. Okay. Yes, Gemini, Bolben.
So if he comes with the attitude with the service, and after that also, if you don't get that response, we are not right in that situation. We are not negotiating our inner peace.
Negotiating what?
Our inner peace. We compromise our inner peace, right?
That is where the hetu is different. As soon as you compromise, word compromise and the pure intention do not go together. Okay? I understand. That's why I'm saying it is not that easy. It is difficult. But hetu, that's why the word hetu is so important. And at this moment, let me tell you, just swap the thinking for a minute that instead of your mother-in-law is Goddess Amba. What will be your attitude?
That's not the case. We can't think like that.
I'm sorry?
That is not the case, though.
I understand.
We are human beings, and let me. We are human beings, and as far as I can see it, I don't know your the way you were brought up, your generation, in the place you were brought up. But this is so unfair to me that a young person at the beginning of their life to go and service someone without thinking about herself. That even, I don't think even that is what God intended for us.
Okay.
And a lot of I'm sorry, but to say this, but I heard a lot, and it's becoming more true, that a lot of books, everything about life and what we should do is written by men. And there are always women who should sacrifice. Have you ever seen a son-in-law? Have you ever seen yourself or a son-in-law to service their mother-in-law that way? I have never seen or heard. If I have, it's just like things like physical. I need my car to be repaired. I need to go shopping. But giving your soul for 60 some years, you have to be Mother Teresa. I'm sorry, because I don't see that in any human being, or I don't want to say it. I think that's too much as a human being to suffer all your life. And the work of a nurse is on your shoulder, and you need to do the rest of your duties as a wife, mother, daughter, all that. No, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It is good that what you said, but let me tell you, you are okay. Couple of points. Number one, your thinking still got to be a third person. Okay, but listen to me, then you talk. Okay. Secondly, you're bringing out the daughter-in-law's picture, and you have never seen son-in-law. But forget about even son-in-law. I have seen the servant, workers, serving the boss for years together. Forget about human being. I have seen even dogs and cats servicing the people. So that's where the word hetu, intention, comes into picture. And I understand, I'm talking about, you may call it idealism, but this is what we have to keep on looking at it. We have to be a better person. That's all.
Being a better person, I don't even think God, who we are as a part of, we are all part of a divine, well, yeah, as you have taught us for so long. So sacrificing your soul and body to just make someone else happy,
Hold on.
I take care of myself. But like the situation as a third person, when you were talking about the A, B, and C, in that situation, the only person that's important for me at that situation is myself. So to get there, to get to that peace, I need to surrender. I need to just do whatever the boss wants and live my life without any stress. Me. But if it becomes a part of who I am all my life, that's it. I don't think even we have to be the peace and the surrender and the happiness and all that we have supposed to have in us, because we are a part of divine. You cannot have that unless, I said, you are one or two people in this planet, like Mother Teresa and so on, can be that much giving to go ahead and not think about my life at all. I'm a young girl, 20 years old. I just got married. I'm just going to go and clean up my mother-in-law's bed for the rest of my life. That is so not unfair in every level.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
May I make a comment?
No, hold on. But before even you say that, Maheen, that's why throughout today I was emphasizing on the word hetu, intention. If you think intention is for you to be happy and not in that work, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your intention? If your intention is nothing but service, then you be happy.
Exactly.
You don't have to look for the happiness elsewhere.
So
Exactly.
I have to say that part of happiness and being a peaceful, happy person and enjoying my life is not for me. I'm just here to sacrifice and give service. Is that what you're saying as a human
And
being?
as soon as you say it is not
Sacrifice.
for me, that means it ruins the hetu, the purpose, intention. At that time, you are emphasizing on the word sacrifice. You're not really sacrificing.
Yes.
You are embracing this environment. You're so grateful that you got mother-in-law who is always bedridden.
And dislike you.
It's okay.
I don't, it's just that to me,
It's not
it's
possible.
not possible.
Everybody.
As far as getting married to serve someone, why would I get married? I will just go and serve someone just for this.
Intention.
If I'm doing anything
It
to
is-
help others, it's
It
because
is a service.
I want to. It's not because I have to, because I want to. I'm giving service right now. I do different things. I do volunteer job because I want to, but it's not my life. Anyway, right now at this point, the age I am, or we all are, that part is closed.
Mahin, I give you an ideal condition, but even if you adopt 10, 20, 30% in your life, you can have control, not control, but you can monitor your emotions better. That's my intention. I'm not saying that you are wrong. Each one of us, we have our own dream, but to what degree and how we should take and how should adapt the philosophy in our life. So they emphasize again and again, I will say, on the word hetu, the intention.
But this is another question. The girl who's 20 years old, 18 or whatever, and is looking ahead for a life to live, does she know when she gets married she's gonna be doing that? And by that question, I don't mean does she know, I'm sure she does, they will tell her, but does she really know what she is gonna be doing? Taking this responsibility that I'm gonna take care of this person who from what I hear, is not very even happy with me. Is that what I want to do at age 20? You go and ask a girl age 20 and see what they say. It's too much to want someone at that age to understand or even go for it.
Mahin, that 20 years old girl is you. Don't think this path. Remember, we have studied.
It's not me. It would be 20 years old me that I was, and if they had, I don't know, we didn't have these things in Iran, but you were not supposed to serve anybody when you get married, and your mother-in-law, and that situation was different. So,
sweetheart, I am with you, I understand you, and as and when you get chance to contemplate on it. Okay, that's all.
thank you.
Anybody else? Nobody?
I was just going to say that. Can I speak?
Hello.
Oh, no, go on. Go on.
Go ahead, Naina. You have something to say, Naina?
I think what Mahim is saying and what you are saying. Yes, I'm saying something. I said what example you have. Can you hear?
Yeah, very well. Go for it.
I'm unmute. Can you hear?
Yes.
Yes.
I think the example you have given of your aunt is very extreme. It's really, really, really very impossible for everybody to do that, you know. But even simple solution I'm looking for, or we are all looking for, how to deal with every day with our family member or our boss, you know, even that is very hard to negotiate. I think I want to have answer for that.
Okay. In a situation like this, for our immediate family, you have two choices. Number one, that is, first you feel, are you doing the best you can? And that too, with a very deep peace in mind. Don't let your mind argue all the time. Okay? Just sincerely think, are you doing the best you can? And if not, and if, say, you did, and still the situation is not different, then you learn to manage like and dislike. Then you are expecting the result out of your partner, your friend, your employee, or your hospital worker. When they are not behaving, accept it. That's the way they're going to behave. Do I have a choice to be upset or not? Then you choose to. Then. So this is the case.
But you don't have a choice all the time.
If you do.
In that case, you still have a choice to suffer.
Yes, exactly.
Are you paying importance to suffering? Then
Yes.
suffer. That's where the spiritual life.
But what can you do? You are suffering.
Sweetheart, that is what I say. You have 3-4 choices. That means you are not analyzing the situation the way it needs to be. The person can say anything, can behave anything. But in that case, you just say, I did the best I can. And I do not expect him or her to change. And even if I expect he's not going to, so why bother? And if you still
that the last thing, the why bother is very hard part.
Hard part, but not impossible. As soon as you say it is hard part, that yes, Jayashree, I'm coming to you there. As soon as you say it is hard part, that means you're choosing to suffer.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Can I give you an example?
It happens.
Of my own life.
Hold on, Mahid, hold on. Okay, let Naina finish.
I said it happens, and it's really, really hard to control yourself, and you have
There is
to, I have to negotiate with myself, not to be suffer,
Exactly, how would you? Who chooses you to suffer, you or somebody else?
A lot of thinking and lot of satsang.
So you should feel happy that that's what you are doing it. Okay. Naina, pardon me, but I'm not differing with you there. I am with you, I understand, but the situation is, so far it is also my humble duty to guide you in the right direction. We are still looking for the solution outside of us. Solution is within us, with us. Okay, Gemini. Then I'm coming to Chris.
Jayashree, she wants to say.
I'm sorry?
Jayashree wants to say something.
Okay, Jayashree.
So I'm with Naina and Maheen on this, because how much abuse can a person take? How much internal, you can't, okay, if you try to ignore somebody and say, oh, this is how they are, and they're constantly just being either, maybe they're not being physically abusive, but they're being verbally abusive. How much can you take of that?
How much can you take it, right?
and then the other part of it is, if we had that attitude where, oh, we'll just internalize it and be internal, we would be living in the 1800s where we have no rights at all. If everybody had that attitude of, oh, I guess this is how it is. Oh, well, I guess I have to live with it. Then nobody would ever fight for anybody's rights for anything.
Question is not nobody. Question is for us individuals.
But aren't we people too? Aren't we a part of the society that If we want any change in our own society, then we all need to speak up. We all need to say something. If even one of us internalizes, so they can think like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll be okay. I'm just going to look at my work and make sure the dishes are cleaned properly. That's not the attitude to take, I don't think. I don't know. I feel strongly about this as well.
No, please argue. Who has to take the attitude? The third person?
What I'm saying is, though, unless there is this, if we're all sitting there convincing ourselves to be happy, no change will be made. And the society will remain as messed up as it is.
Yes. Who are you to change the society?
Oh, my Lord, then who's going to do it?
No, I'm just asking, who are you to change the society who cannot change yourself?
The only way I can change myself is to get away from that situation. That would be my solution.
No.
who's gonna do that then? Who's gonna take care of her?
To take care of who?
In this case, we're talking about Faye, right? Who's gonna take care of her? If everybody thinks that way, who will take care of that person? This is one extreme case, granted. But somebody needs help. Who's going to help that person? If we can't think of
a nurse.
Wait, no. What nurse? Have you seen the situation we are in right now? Have you seen how nurses are treating people? Have you been to one of those homes?
No.
That's another argument.
Mukesh,
You're talking about society and our social
that's
structure.
another argument altogether.
Wait, Mukesh, I wasn't addressing the part of helping the mother-in-law who's sick. I was addressing what Maheen was talking about, our role in society that we don't know. I'm talking about a 20-year-old that would have gone into a situation not knowing what's happening to her.
Again, this is
and the thing is, why
I
is it
agree.
expected that one person is doing the whole thing? Why can't the entire family help out?
I'm sure they were.
Why
I'm
is
sure
the
they
burden
were
on
helping.
one person is my point.
I'm sure they were all helping. I don't think everybody left it up to one person.
Not every family.
You're making the
Mukesh.
situation pleasant, and it's not. Mukesh, if a young woman marries to a family and all the responsibility.
But we are talking about service. I think this is spiritual.
No, service that is, you should be.
This
service to yourself. What about that? What about service to you as a human being? What about that?
You think she's taking care of her 24/7? I don't think so.
Doesn't matter. That's an expectation. That expectation that is on her shoulder is a killer. You have to be a woman maybe to understand this. No, it's not. It's not as easy as you want to make it.
No, it's not. Absolutely. And you're saying
it's
that
a difficult situation,
No,
bringing
I think
peace to yourself is a duty that you were born with. When you were born from your mother, that happiness and peace also comes as a part of who you are in this planet.
No, yeah, exactly. And that happiness makes you, that happiness will drive you to do those kind of service. That's when you start thinking about
not everybody,
consciousness. Remember,
not everybody, every daughter-in-law is not supposed to service their mother-in-law until they die.
See, you're missing the point. I think the thing is we are growing spiritually. How are we gonna grow? The growth.
What about the mother-in-law? When is she going to grow?
You are looking at the third person.
It's her.
No,
it's her karma.
You are putting all on one person to be kind, give service, and take care of everything. And as I'm not kidding, men cannot understand this because women have that responsibility. Men do that kind of work. Men do it in a different way, and the worst thing they may get from a father-in-law or mother-in-law is that something they look at them wrong way. But mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws are a different story. You don't know what women do to each other. It's not that simple as be kind and give service. You want to. Who doesn't want to help people? If you don't, then there's something wrong with you.
Maheen,
but there should be a limit.
Maheen, this is a matter of what you as a mother-in-law, mother, wife would like to be. That's it. Forget somebody else to be mother-in-law. What would you like to be? That's
No,
it.
but Sonaji, this cannot be a solution, as you were explaining before, that your aunt has done it, cannot be the path for everyone to follow. This is what you are your, because that cannot be. I have to choose my own path.
Okay, you have your own path, so choose it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's giving service and being kind. Also, I was going to tell you this, that as far as having experience, that to be kind yourself and surrender, me, my daughters, I had problem with them argument, but I surrendered. I keep my quiet. Even when I'm around them, I'm in peace and silence and happiness because I don't want to interfere. We are fine now because we are keeping our peace. But a daughter-in-law, even the daughter-in-law wants to have that. The mother-in-law will start saying, why is my tea hot or my shoes? It's a different story. That's what I'm saying.
Maheen, I am with you. I, to a degree, sympathize. I cannot empathize because I'm in a different person, different situation.
Of course.
So I try to understand you, but how to be even 10% derive the relief is to think what I choose to be.
Yeah.
Don't think anybody else.
That's what I did with my daughters. That's
okay.
what I did with my daughters. And I have a beautiful peace. That's what I did.
That's so, that's the answer. That's the answer. Yeah. Okay,
exactly.
Jayshree disagrees. Okay, let her talk.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Chris, I'm sorry I didn't let Chris talk for a while.
I was just going to say that we all have issues in our lives and we all have choices we can make. And with respect to what we've been talking about, I find that when I have issues, it's usually because I'm outer directed. I'm looking for somebody to please me or to approve of me. But I find that when I do the best job that I can do, whether it's work or in a personal relationship, and I let go of that and just say, I've done what I can do and don't look to the fruit, which is the objective world. What am I going to get from this? Or what am I going to get from that? That I find that I do have a measure of peace. It's when I get away from that and let my mind start thinking about what things could be better, the mind starts racing. That's when I get into the problems. And it's basically by, like you're saying, not looking outward, but looking inward, that I find that I have some measure of peace.
Excellent summarization, Chris. Germany. Okay, I have not touched Sunil at all. Sunil. In all this, nothing to say?
No.
Wise person keeps quiet. Okay. No, but anyhow, out of this, dear friend, I understand. We all have limitation. We all have situation. We all the time think that I'm working so hard, but the other person is lazily not doing anything. That also you can tolerate, but when he or she is increasing your work, at that time a different kind of thoughts may come to our mind. Am I a servant here or what? Different kind of, and why am I to sacrifice? Why other people are enjoying their life? As soon as that thought comes, why others are enjoying their life? Who defined their enjoyment? Your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as soon as your mind would have chosen that you got a chance to serve, you are even happier than them. They don't know the value of service. You got an opportunity to serve. So how happy I am. If that's the intention, then you are happy, right? So all what Chris was talking about, internalization, depends upon what is your expectation or how you are taking a situation. It is difficult, I understand. A lot of times we think that women are mistreated. I also agree with you. But how they are treated and how not, who decides how they are treating? It's our mind. So whole spirituality is a science of mastering the mind. Situation will exist. And sometimes we have also learned, if not John, then Jim. Today it may be your mother-in-law, tomorrow you may be your teacher, next day can be your boss, and next day it can be your grandchildren too. If you can be treated or mistreated in your world, then yes, you have a choice. So with this, dear friends, I'm sorry, I am taking, passing the time, it's 9:08. So let us just observe a minute of silence. We do Shantipat and end the session, but I so much appreciate each one of you put out your true reason or argument, what you think, and that's the way to learn. Hari Om. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. That's it. I thank you for such a beautiful class. I learned a lot out of it. And next time, we'll now go to the third eye. Because that's the time we come to know, we still think the third eye or the self-realized state is some knowledge to be obtained somewhere else, whether it may be in Quran, Bible, or Bhagavad Gita. And where it is to be found, let us learn next time. Okay. Hari Om.